So if it's going to take a whooping next week to straighten Gino Hernandez out, then that's what he's going to get, a whooping.
Good. Now, how about the muscle posing? All right, let me hold that robe for you, and I will hang on. All right, you just go about it, and I'll try to tell the people something about what you're doing. Now, notice the way he bunches up those muscles up on the top of his neck. This one is a favorite pose of all the people who want to show off their body. But you know, one of the things that is often missing here is the back pose. Look at the width of that man's back, the width of his back. Here again with a one-arm pose. But these muscles in the leg here, I think are...
Let me tell you something, Bosch. You invited me out here to do a promo. I didn't come out here to see a burlesque show. To see this man stand here posing with all kinds of muscles and all kinds of garbage, that does not make a wrestler. A wrestler is what I am. I am not a striptease artist, or I am not a bodybuilder.
I didn't say you weren't. I just was going to take you in the right time. What the...
You know, Harley Race, you let me tell you something. I always have a great deal of respect for you as a champion. But as a man, as an individual, I think you are a wreck.
So there. Now look, let's not stop anything here. Hey! Wait a minute. Well, I'll be doggone. We'll be back here in a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We'll return here in a moment. Thank you. Well, up in the ring, Gino Hernandez has been doing an awful lot of posing with his muscles. Tony Atlas just stepped into the ring. Gino withdrew. Here is Boyd Pierce.
Your first main event of the evening. In the blue corner, 2 out of 3 falls, 1 hour time limit from Roanoke, Virginia, 250-pound, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas. And across the ring from Houston, Texas, 230-pound, gorgeous Gino. Your referee, Bronco Lewis.
Gorgeous Gino. Here, about to meet his match in muscle, if not in wrestling ability, because Gino Hernandez is the kind of a guy who takes a lot of pride in his body, but so does Tony Atlas. So does Tony Atlas. There is Atlas, and even in repose, he is bigger than most of the men in the world. And Gino has just gone a step too far. This match is for 2 out of 3 falls, and Gino is not going to be content to let Atlas have everything his own way as far as the muscle goes, and he better not let him have his own way as far as the balance goes, because Atlas is a powerful individual. He can lift a 250-pound man at least up over his head to arm's length in what he calls a military press, and it sure is. Full Nelson, Gino has the hold, and Tony Atlas is the man on whom it is being placed, and this could be a bad selection of holds. Look at the way those muscles come together. I'll tell you, he got everything moving in the right direction at the right time and popped him right in the midsection. Right in the midsection. So we've got Tony Atlas. You notice why he's shaking his arms. Generally, this is for relaxation and to just keep them loose, so that they'll be ready to move in any direction at any time. Gino with a twisting arm lock, and Tony now applying counter pressure. There is the twist and the turn, and he made a dive for the ropes that was necessary. He's not quite sure what to expect from the power and the strength of Atlas. And Atlas has proven that he is fast enough to match his opponents in speed as well. Side headlock. Tony puts it around there, and Gino wants to get the hold broken. You saw him go over that top rope, and you saw him come back, but his coming back was involuntary. Crotch hold. Wait a minute, he's going to lift him up in the air. I'll be doggone. Oh, 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 oh. All right, you talk about power. How many men in your life have you ever seen who could lift somebody up to the full length of their arms? Not very many, I'll tell you. There's an awful lot of difference between lifting a live weight and an inanimate object. So here is Tony Atlas in the early moments of this 2 out of 3 fall match. He has given Gino Hernandez something to think about. But Gino has not yet uncorked his, look at the trapezius muscles on this Tony Atlas as he reversed what Gino had thought was going to be something that would work in his direction. Gino Hernandez, and Tony Atlas let go of him. He was pressing on Tony that time, and Tony let go and stepped aside, and you saw him go sprawling. Oh, man. That would keep you walking bent over for a considerable time. Atlas now moving in, and he has kept moving in through from the start of this match. Aggressive. The electrifying manner in which he has caught on with the Houston fans is something beautiful to behold. There is a double wrist lock, and the twist as he pulls up on it is what Gino's looking for to work to his benefit. Tony coming out from underneath, and he could reverse it. He is reversing it, and did. Gino was lucky that he fell out of the hold, and Gino is complaining that that Atlas pulled his trunks, pulled his hair rather, and took him off balance. 5 minutes have gone by, and Gino almost gained the point with the referee that time, almost. So Gino's backed up in the corner. He's trying to trip, back heel Atlas, but it didn't work. But that worked, as he came over that time. He caught him across the face and across the eyes, and no man can get muscles in his eyes that are going to protect him from that sort of thing. And here is Gino's first salvo in what promises to be a rough turn in this war of 2 of the top youngsters in the wrestling game. Atlas is starting to rise up to his feet. You see him now as he starts shaking away to get back at Gino, but he has come up to a standing position, and that well-muscled arm found tender territory. Oh, the crash of the wallop, and Tony Atlas flails away at him. Those ropes were nearby, and Gino took full advantage of the opportunity to get under as fast as he could and get on that floor. The floor looked friendlier to him than Tony Atlas did, and for good reason. So now Tony is on even terms, and he's trying to set him up. Caught him in the right spot, and Gino doubled up for fair there. Here is Atlas in behind. He's got a reverse chin lock. He's got both hands cupped around the chin of gorgeous Gino. He's got his forearms resting on Gino's shoulders, and he is lifting up on the chin. There it is. Now you get a good view of it. Our director, Ed Worthington, gets that camera in position for you to watch what's happening to Gino as his head is stretched back, and Tony Atlas bears down on the forearms. He has powerful arms. Powerful arms. The ropes will break it. And Atlas is the kind of a guy who breaks, and breaks quickly, fairly. Gino's sole burst of superiority came when he walloped Tony Atlas with a series of elbows after ripping across his face and across his eyes. Notice how he is hooking around the leg of Atlas. He's got a figure 4 lock on there, but it didn't work. Tony decided that he'd just ignore it. Whoa! Atlas doing the pounding. Tony Atlas doing the crashing. And there comes the driving wallop with the head. But he's not ready to let him down yet. One more, says Tony Atlas. One more. And one more it is. And again, as Gino Hernandez seeks safety, he seeks it by driving right through those ropes and finding a spot on the floor. He's a little bit the worse for wear. He has fallen on that floor at least 5 times during this match, and the contact with the floor almost seems preferable to him than the manner in which Tony Atlas has been blasting him with wallops and with power. And that one came around that time with a thumb stuck out in front of the fist. He drove the thumb up underneath Tony's chin, right into the tender part of the throat. Another one of those places that you can't really grow muscle. Just up underneath your mouth. 10 minutes have gone by as Gino starts to flail away at Tony Atlas. And this is a good spot for Gino, and he hasn't had too many of them. On the floor now, and not from choice and not to escape punishment, is Atlas. Here comes Hernandez, and almost a decapitating blow as he blasted him in the head and neck with the arm as he came down with his 235 pounds coming through the air. And before they hit the ground, hit the floor, they had hit Tony Atlas. So Tony's on the outside, and Gino would like nothing better than to be able to punish him while he was there and while Atlas was unable to reach him. Atlas trying to shake off the effects of the punishment. Here he is, catching it, and yet rising right up to face Gino, and that look on his face could spell trouble as far as Gino Hernandez is concerned. You talk about a Hulk moving through the air. There is one. And smash, and he'll introduce him to yet another ring post and another. Tony Atlas trying to set Gino up. He set him up, set him right back on his three-point landing, and whipped him in again and over, and Atlas caught him with a headbutt. Tony Atlas is on top, There we've got a fall. The first fall in this battle between Tony Atlas and Gino Hernandez.
Tony Atlas.
There it is. It goes to Tony Atlas, the man with the muscles and the man with the electricity, and the man who has caught on in tremendous fashion with Texas wrestling fans. We'll be back here in a moment after we have this word from the studio. Time running out in this intermission period. 2-1, and there's the bell as Gino Hernandez starts signaling for a timeout. But Tony Atlas doesn't have the power to grant a timeout, but he's saying no, and the referee is reminding Gino Hernandez that there is no timeout. Now, as the crowd starts to drive Tony Atlas forward, they start this staccato and rhythmic applause to egg him on. Tony Atlas inside toe hold, and he scissors that leg in order to keep it exactly where he wants it. So Atlas, one fall ahead, grabs a toe hold, scissors that. Whoa! Good move by Gino, but you've got to watch out for the retaliation when you start something like that. Again, inside toe hold with a scissor applied on that foot so that it'll hold it, and pressure put on the ankle as he pulls up on the, you should pardon the expression, the pink boots of Gino Hernandez. Gino now trying to, well, he tried to get him into a position where he could do even more damage, but that did it. It got him out of trouble because Tony was exposed. And now as Gino starts to work him over, Tony was not in as much trouble as Gino thought. Same hold. Inside bar toe hold. You got a scissor on the leg to make sure that it sticks where it's supposed to, and he's able to put the pressure on. And now, after having given Gino a lesson in strength in that first fall, Tony Atlas starts to apply holds to give Gino something to worry about from a different direction in the second fall. Versatility is important, and wrestling knowledge along with the power is important, and Tony is applying a standing leg split as his contribution to the punishment of Gorgeous Gino. Big hands. You see how he's got that boot and is bending it, but how much of it covers. That's the idea, is the turn and the twist. Yes, that's the way it feels. Just the way Gino's face looks. He's trying to keep his shoulders clear and to get a little bit more spread in that split, and he does. Gino's pulling it toward him, hoping that he's going to throw Tony off balance and to take a little more control. I was going to say he was going to take control of his own foot, bring Tony closer. It didn't work out that way. He got a wallop in there. He pulled him by the trunks and threw a blow. I'm not entirely certain where it landed, but it did damage to Tony Atlas. And now as Gino lays in the fist and feet work, you see the foot going into the face. He's trying to get the circulation back in that leg. You see him bouncing around on it and kicking it. And as he comes into Tony, He's dropping in there with his knee, hoping to raise a Charlie horse, and a Charlie horse could slow Tony Atlas up. Gino Hernandez trying to use that ring post now to wrap the leg of Tony Atlas around it. He wrapped it all right. He wrapped it into that ring post and solidly. Five minutes have gone by. 10 minutes, no, I'm sorry. This is the second fall of this match. I beg your pardon. There is a 1 hour time limit on this match. And Tony Atlas brings him down to size, and size, whether you're on your knees or on your feet, is an important factor. Atlas on top, and he beats a tattoo, and how he clobbers him. And again, Gino goes out, and he almost crawled gratefully out of that ring that time, and he was going head down toward the floor when last I saw him. But it looked to me like he was gratefully relieved to be on the outside of that ring. So, the second fall of this match with Tony Atlas one fall ahead, and Gino steps back in to face sure and certain punishment. Gino is always dangerous. You cannot take this man for granted. You've got to remember that before he started getting rough more often than he wrestled, he was basically a good, fine wrestler, and he still knows it. He was taught the rudiments of the game by his father. And muscle to know, the muscles of Tony Atlas right now are being submitted to a stress test that could change the complexion of this match. And Gino up there is making the most of it, trying to exude satisfaction over what he has done. Tony's outside. He has been shaken by the punishment with that chair. Gino is ready for him, and here is the effort to get back in the ring. He's got to make room for himself. Tony Atlas, and with every wallop, these fans let out a roar, and that roar just marked time for the blows that were falling. Oh man, how it came in, and Tony came in there with a driving roar and hit that 22-inch arm of his in there. There is one of the things that Gino does well, and he is planning on doing it right now. We've got Gino Hernandez, the diving off that rope, and he dove and he landed. We've got a fall. The equalizing fall in this battle goes to Gino Hernandez. So Gorgeous Gino evens things, which means we will have a third and deciding fall between these two great young stars of the wrestling game, and we'll be back for it in just a moment. And as the bell sounds, and even before it sounded, Gino Hernandez had moved in there, and he was able to punctuate the sound of that bell with a wallop on the back of Tony Atlas' neck. This is the third and deciding fall of this match here at the Sam Houston Coliseum, and Gino has a definite advantage to start this third fall. These fans here have seen Tony Atlas in some sensational matches. This is their first opportunity to see whether he can really recover from punishment. You see the grip on that trapezius muscle on the left side as Gino concentrates with the double grip, and the referee gives Atlas the option. He can quit if he wants to, and Atlas so far has not given any indication that he means to do anything except to rise up to his feet. And he's on his way, but this minimizes the hold to a great degree, and Gino recognized that fact, and before Atlas was well balanced, he was back on the canvas, because this gives Gino an opportunity to bore in there, to lean in there, and to take the grip solidly and lean in with his weight and to tighten up on it. And there's no sign that Tony Atlas is going to let this hold beat him. He found his mark. Atlas throws a tremendous wallop for a muscle man. You can never say that his weight training has done him any harm, for sure. There goes Atlas now to make sure that Gino doesn't stay out there as a refuge. He's got him, and he gives him. Oh, man, he slammed him headfirst into that chair. And Gino bounced off that ring post. He hit it a blow and went flying to the floor, and he has to be a lot the worse for wear. Doing the pounding is Tony Atlas as he tries to set Gino Hernandez up, and he's got him in a bear hug. He's got the big squeeze on him. He's got the hold. He's putting those 22-inch arms to work, and the pressure must be enormous, because when a man with that kind of strength gets his arms around you and bears down, you're in trouble. So Atlas took a handful of face and ripped it across there. Gino met that turnbuckle before, but this one he's meeting again and again, and the bouncing is he's got a, and Gino Hernandez hit that turnbuckle with tremendous force and regularity, and he is in trouble. Here comes Gino now, looking for the opportunity to get things off on an even keel, and he's even willing to shake hands in order to achieve it, but I don't think Tony's going to believe him. Crotch lift and a hard driving slam. Tony again. Oh, man, he's got that arm of his, which is like hitting with a 2x4, and he is in great position. Oh, the fans tell him to do it again, He heard him. There's one, there's two, and Gino puts a foot over the rope. He may wish he hadn't. On top, Tony Atlas. 5 minutes have gone by, and this, the third and deciding fall of this battle. And he caught a knee right square in the face. He caught a driving knee. Tony had bent over and was just about to flip Gino over, and here is a Back body drop, and Tony's in a bad way. Gino Hernandez going for the driving wallop off the top rope, and Atlas. He did it. Tony Atlas scores a 3-fall win. An uproar of approval from these fans, and we'll be back here in a moment after we have this word from the studio.